Hey my friends, welcome back to a new video. Today we'll be talking about 8 superpowers of highly sensitive people. So if you would describe yourself as a highly sensitive person or an empath, like you feel energy in the room, you may feel emotions of others. Sometimes you can read thoughts of others. And wherever you go, you may sense what kind of energy is there. Like you go into the forest and maybe sometimes you feel like you can communicate with the nature around you. So if you're like that, you're a highly sensitive person. And often people see that gift as a curse because of that, they're often drained out. They often feel exhausted. For that, we need boundaries and we need to know how to protect our energy. That's a video I made a few days ago. So what are superpowers of that? And I know there's many highly sensitive people here in the community, because I often receive a message if I could make more videos for that, like how to protect your energy, how to cope when you feel exhausted, how to recharge your cup of life, right? So what are superpowers of highly sensitive people? Well, the first one is empathy. Empathy is such a beautiful emotion. Empathy is something that will save us. Why? Because most people don't feel, it feels like most people don't sense anything. They're just rushing through life. But you are the one that senses everything. You sense life. And even though often you may sense chaos, you may sense stress, you may sense certain degree of toxicity, maybe in a conversation or in a room or whatever it is, it means that you sense something important. You can feel how it is to be in someone else's shoes, right? And highly sensitive people have a heightened ability to perceive and understand the emotions of others. So if you're considering to get into a field where you can help somebody, it's much easier. Actually, if you have strong empathy, it's really easy to help someone because you feel how that person feels like. So it is a really beautiful sense when we learn to use it correctly. It enables us to connect with people on a deeper level and respond with compassion and support. So that is beautiful, but it becomes a bit, sometimes we would describe it as a curse if we're always empathic, right? It's hard then for you to say no sometimes when you want to say no, and for that you need to learn to set boundaries. You need to learn how much is enough, like how much hanging is enough for you. When you truly want to say no because you have some other things to do, right? It's something that you just need to strengthen the muscle of self-awareness, like what feels right at this moment. So you can start appreciating your beautiful gift of empathy. And maybe at some point in your life, you will make a lifestyle around it. You will become a healer, maybe energy healer, a spiritual healer. Maybe you will become somebody who's taking care of animals or kind of protecting nature, or whatever you will find. Empathy will help you to build your life around this. And it will become so beneficial for people who will come across your work. So empathy is always a superpower. The second superpower is intuition. Highly sensitive people are often really intuitive. Can you feel that? So to be intuitive means that you can sense things that other people usually don't sense, right? Sometimes you may sense a glimpse of the future. Sometimes you may sense that somebody is not telling you the truth. Sometimes you may sense that something is not right here, right? And sometimes you sense what you should do. This ability can help you to make better decisions in life and to anticipate potential problems and navigate difficult situations. Intuition is that sense that helps us to recognize what's right. I like to call it an inner compass, because if we're really in tune with it, and if you're a highly sensitive person, you sense strong intuition. That's why when you do something that's not in alignment with you, you will also sense a strong guilt, or you will sense a strong feeling that something is wrong, right? Something is off. That's your intuition saying to you that you did something that is not in alignment with you. Not wrong, but you did something that is not in alignment with you. And if we train to detect our intuition before it's too late, we can truly learn to listen and follow its guidance. And that is really, really a superpower, because it can help you to make better decisions in life when it comes to your relationships, when it comes to your health, when it comes to your personal life, when it comes to finances. You can sense when something is off, right? When somebody's offering you something and you know that deep inside your heart is not agreeing with that, right? It's not fear, it's deep knowingness. So that's something important to know, right? The third superpower, really, really powerful, is that you have a great attention to detail. Do you have a great attention to detail? Are you an artist or maybe researcher and you can't miss what's important to you? Highly sensitive people are often really, really detail oriented, which allows them to notice small changes or nuances that others may miss, right? Is that you? This can be a valuable asset in many fields, like if you're studying maybe science, you can notice something that most people have missed in the past. And the truth is that many great scientists in the past were highly sensitive people. Many great artists in the past were highly sensitive people. Actually, most of really great people from the past were highly sensitive people, because you need to have intense senses to recognize the details, because it's all about details. If you're an artist, like a painter, you know that it's all about details. If you're making music, it's all about details. And when you have a great attention for details, you can really improve something that most people had no idea how to improve. You always find a new way. You always discover maybe a new style or a new way of expression or something new. So if you're a highly sensitive person, recognize that attention to detail is a powerful gift. And if you use it, if you go into a field of art or science or whatever you may feel called to do, you will discover something really unique, something new. At some point, you will discover something completely new that will be your discovery, and it may bring you really far. You will be able to maybe to help many people, maybe to inspire many people. You will find a new way. And that's something that most people are not aware of. Most people think, oh, it's a bad thing because I always catch the details, so it's hard for me to enjoy. In a movie, for example, like you're watching a movie and you can recognize a spot where something was off, or there was a mistake that was maybe missed by the creators, or whatever, right? It's a really powerful gift. The fourth superpower of highly sensitive people is creativity. Many highly sensitive people are highly creative and imaginative. You can lose yourself in your own imagination, right? You can create your own world. If I say to you, visualize your wanting future, it's not hard to do. right? And that's really amazing when it comes to manifestation. It's much easier for you to visualize a certain potential future so you can know how it feels like. Sometimes we want things that are not really for us. And if we visualize it, it's much easier to know how it feels. Is that the right thing? Is that really what I want? Is that really where I want to invest my energy? If you feel like that, play with it, right? Creativity is such a beautiful gift of humanity. And creativity helps us to become more conscious in life. Creative thinking helps us to reprogram our minds from automatic thinking. And therefore, creativity is a superpower. You may often feel drawn to artistic pursuits like writing or music or certain visual art. You love paintings maybe, because you may lose yourself in it. Like what's the story behind it? What the artist tried to demonstrate or show here. And that's deeply meaningful and emotional as well, right? This is a gift. Because we need more great artists. We need more sensitive people. And sensitivity is not bad, right? So sometimes people connect it with weakness. We only feel alive because we feel life, right? When we don't feel life, we feel like something is missing. When we are exhausted and drained out and stressed out, we don't feel life. We only feel what's wrong, right? And because you're more sensitive, it's much easier for you to plug back to life, to be inspired by life, to feel creativity. And because most probably somebody told you that you are weak or that there's something wrong with you, you still believe that that's true. But most probably person that told you is the person that's hurt. Maybe the person was or is also highly sensitive and was hurt because of that. So now you believe that same story. You need to find people who are thriving as highly sensitive people so we can recognize the gift of being that, right? Of being that kind of a person. Because the world needs that, especially right now. Artificial intelligence is coming. Everything is becoming so externally oriented. Like you can find the answers on the internet, you can find everything on the internet, but not many people are teaching how to in tune with yourself, how to find answers within you, how to plug to the creative flow, how to feel grounded, right? How to feel calm in the times of chaos, how to be resilient. We need that, and only people who are highly sensitive can really learn and develop the skills so they can teach others to do that as well, right? Intuition is so important here. And empathy, we can't do that without empathy. So you need to understand your superpower. The fifth one is a depth of perception. What is that? Well, highly sensitive people tend to experience the world in a more profound and incredible way than others. They may notice subtle changes in mood or atmosphere. Can you recognize that when something changes in the air, you feel it immediately, right? Sometimes you may pick up thoughts that are in the air, like in the collective. And you may feel deeply moved by beauty or meaning in the world around you. Like you may hear a certain part of the song and you may be moved by it. You may see a tiny butterfly and you may be moved by it. You may hear a beautiful sound of the birds and you may be moved by it. Isn't that beautiful? Being so sensitive that a tiny spark of nature can move you with beauty. That's wonderful. But sometimes it's hard when we're living in chaotic world, right? If you're somewhere in the city, where there's a crowded place, you may think like, oh, it's not so much a superpower. Well, actually it is, because if there would something go wrong, you would be the first one who would start encouraging those people to look up for the bright side. You would be the first one because you know how to look up for the bright side. You see a butterfly and you see a bright side, right? You would be the first one. So maybe right now you're somewhere where you're not using your gifts, but at some point, at some day, you will wake up to a degree where you will start using your gifts, and you will notice how many people are coming to you for an advice, for a help, for a solution, because that's what you sense within. You always sense what's right, and so many people are craving that. So learn to start appreciating your gifts. But like I said before, also learn to protect your energy. Know when it is enough. Know when you need to recharge yourself. Take care of self-care. Recognize what you need, what are your heart desires, and also start providing to yourself. Because you're often giving to others, right? You're often helping others. How often you take time for yourself? Everything in nature needs to be in balance. So ask yourself, are you in balance? Is your lifestyle in balance? Are you giving yourself as much as you're giving to others? Are you taking time for yourself? Are you spending time with same-minded people? With people who you would describe as maybe highly sensitive circle, where you can exchange what you've learned. That will help you so much. If you don't, find a community and connect yourself with those kind of people. That will help you so much. The sixth superpower is that you're highly attuned to your senses. So highly sensitive people have heightened senses. It's something we've been talking today, which can be both a blessing and a curse as well, because we sense everything. We sense beauty, but we also sense the chaos and toxicity. So you may be more sensitive to loud noises, strong smells, or bright lights, but you can also appreciate the enjoy in subtle, what's called sensory experiences that others may overlook, right? You can see a rainbow in the sky and you celebrate it. How often it happens to you. Like you're just amazed by it. Isn't that such a beautiful gift in this modern time where people need more and more and more stimulation to feel good? Right? You just see a beautiful sky and you're already in awe. That's a superpower. And most probably it already happened to you that a person came to you and said, oh, what are you doing? Looking into the sky and you're so happy. How is that possible? Well, I'm sure that when we were younger, we were all like that, right? As little kids, we were all like that. That's why in this modern time, being satisfied with simplicity is a superpower. And I'm sure that you're already an interesting person to many people. Especially the young ones with the phones in their hands 24/7. Those people will need more of your kind, more of us, right? Because at some point they will feel completely disconnected from life. And I feel that in the future this awareness of our senses will be more important than anything. And that's why I feel that it's so important to know the superpower of that. Because sometimes we are not doing what's supposed to do with our gifts. We've been all born with those gifts. I'm using them for artistic expression, for sharing a message. Because I found out that that's what just feels right. That's what I'm really good at. I love painting, for example. It's really easy for me to be inspired to paint. So I found out it's something natural. And that's how everybody who feels like a highly sensitive person needs to discover what feels natural for you. Is it easy for you to download an intuitive idea for somebody? Is it easy for you to talk with animals? Is it easy for you to find an inspiration to write a poem? Those are beautiful gifts, and you may wonder, well, I can't make money with that. Well, your intuition will guide you towards it. If you have a desire, if you know what you want, if you have a bright vision for the future, your intuition will guide you there. I never thought that I will be making a living out of doing art, out of making these videos, out of connecting with people, helping people, and that's what I'm doing now, and that's what I really, really love to do. And at some point, I needed to design a future. And for having a trust into that process, I needed to connect with people who are doing something similar. So ask yourself if you're connecting with the right people. If you're surrounded with people who are striving towards something that you are. Because if you're not, it will be much harder for you to do what you're passionate about doing. So, of course, your senses can detect who are your people, right? So make sure that you follow them. The seventh sign of a superpower for highly sensitive people is that you have a strong sense for ethics and values, right? Highly sensitive people often have strong sense of justice and fairness. And that one is so important. Many highly sensitive people are deeply committed to their values and principles and may be motivated to take action when they see injustice or inequality in the world. That's why I said at the beginning, most of really great leaders are highly sensitive people, because they've noticed that something is wrong on the world, like something is missing. Some ethics, maybe some great leaders of the world, or not so great, but well-known leaders of the world are lacking some important values. So what can I do, right? What can I do? How can I be the voice of those values? How can I be the example of the necessary message? And that's why usually the change makers are highly sensitive people. Not the ones that ignore everything, not the ones that are kinda grounded and not sensing much. Highly sensitive people are the ones that are changing the world. And you need to understand that it's not an easy thing for them as much as it's not for you. Everybody who's more sensitive is also more sensitive to fear, is more sensitive to criticism, is more sensitive to any negativity. Therefore, they become really, really strong when it comes to understanding fear, when it comes to understanding inner critic and external criticism, because of their values, right? So we learn to cope with all of those energies, and once we learn to cope with all of those energies, we strengthen that inner muscle of courage, of understanding, and once we do that, nothing can stop us. So there's many ways to strengthen your muscle of ability to overcome your fear, understanding the fear, facing with the fear, and also facing with the inner critic. At some point, if you're a highly sensitive person, if you want to do anything great for yourself and for people around you, you will need to deal with that. And that is something beautiful you can do. So never ignore that. Never ignore your fears. They will actually teach you more about yourself. So don't trust them, question them. And the eighth superpower is that you feel a deep connection with others. Because highly sensitive people feel deeply anything and everything and have a heightened sense of empathy. They often form deep, meaningful connections with others. They're beautiful leaders of communities, but also beautiful participants in them because they can connect with people on a deeper level than most others. They may be more like to form those long-lasting friendships and relationships, and can be a source of comfort and support for those in need. That's why if you've experienced that people are just coming up and they open themselves up like a book, how often it happened to you that people out of nowhere come to you and they just open themselves up even if you don't even know them. It's because they sense that they feel safe with you. That's how deep you are. That's how strong your soul is. They just come close to you and they feel safe being with you. That's a gift of a healer, right? And if you feel like that's you, well, learn to appreciate your gifts. And if that's something hard for you because you often feel drained out, well, consider to learn and study people who have similar situation than you have. Study those kind of people. Create an intention that will guide you to those kind of people. You will come across the right book. You will come across the right maybe podcast or a video that will teach you how to thrive as a highly sensitive person. I hope this video may already bring you some new insights or some value. And also take care of your values. Make sure that your actions are aligned with your values. Because if they are not, it's already a sign where you're missing something. We need to have a clear list of our values and we need to act according to them. Because only that way we can know that, okay, that's where I've lost my direction. That's where something went off. I was not true to my values, right? And it's also much easier then to say no, because when something is not in alignment with your values, it's much easier to recognize, okay, no, that's just not for me. So my friends, this is it for today. I'm sending you lots of love, blessings, and power. Have a beautiful day. I hope you've enjoyed in today's painting. Till next time, one love.